A genetic analysis of bone fragments unearthed at an archaeological site in central Germany shows conclusively that modern humans, Homo sapiens, had already reached northern Europe 45,000 years ago, overlapping with Neanderthals for several thousand years before the latter went extinct. Modern humans crossed the Alps into chilly northern Europe about 45,000 years ago, meaning they may have coexisted with Neanderthals in Europe for thousands of years longer than experts previously thought, according to new research. The discovery of 13 bone fragments belonging to Homo sapiens who occupied a cave in Germany between about 44,000 and 47,500 years ago catalogs the oldest known H. sapiens remains from Central and Northwest Europe, the researchers said. The finding also surprised the team because, as they found, the climate in the region was frigid at that time. This shows that even these earlier groups of Homo sapiens dispersing across Eurasia already had some capacity to adapt to such harsh climatic conditions. Sarah Pedersoni, an archaeologist at the University of La Laguna in Spain and the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany, who led the paleoclimate study of the site, said in a statement, "When H. sapiens arrived in Europe, they were not the first human lineage to enter the continent. Neanderthals, our closest extinct relative, which was well adapted to the cold, occupied Europe from at least 200,000 years ago until they went extinct around 40,000 years ago. Prior work discovered that H. sapiens entered southwest Europe by 46,000 years ago. Much remains hotly debated about the nature of the interactions between H. sapiens and Neanderthals during this period, called the Middle to Upper Paleolithic Transition, 47,000 to 42,000 years ago, and how much our species might have sped up the Neanderthals' demise. To investigate this mysterious transitional period, the researchers of 3 new studies examined artifacts and the climate from that time, according to their findings, published online Wednesday, January 31st, in the journal Nature and in 2 studies in the journal Nature Ecology and Evolution. Archaeologists previously unearthed a number of different industries, or stone tool manufacturing styles, dating to this period, including the Lincolnbian Renisingers Manawishan, LRJ, industry, but it was unclear whether H. sapiens or Neanderthals had crafted them. The Middle Paleolithic in Europe, about 300,000 to 35,000 years ago, is linked with Neanderthals, while the Upper Paleolithic in Europe, about 35,000 to 10,000 years ago, is linked with modern H. sapiens. Study co-author Jean-Jacques Hublin, a paleoanthropologist at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, told Live Science. The artifacts of the transitional period have sort of mixed features. In one of the new studies, researchers examined LRJ artifacts, which included elaborately crafted, leaf-shaped stone tools that were widespread in northern Europe from Germany to Britain. The scientists focused on thousands of bone fragments associated with LRJ artifacts in Ilsenhöhle, Ilse's cave, in Ranis, Germany. The researchers not only conducted new excavations at the site but also performed new analyses of remains found in the cave in the 1930s that are now in museum collections. One of the new studies found the cave was used intermittently not only by denning hyenas and hibernating cave bears but also small groups of hominids, likely either H. sapiens or Neanderthals, who dined on reindeer, woolly rhinoceroses, and horses. However, many bone fragments there were too small and broken for researchers to identify them by their shape. Instead, the researchers analyzed proteins and DNA extracted from these remains to determine the bone's origins. Their research uncovered the 13 bone fragments from about 44,000 to 47,500 years ago.